G'day guys, Aura here, back with another video just in relation to Shadowlands. And now today what we'll be talking about is picking our mains for Shadowlands. Blizzard announced that the World of Warcraft Shadowlands expansion will be coming out on the 27th of October for us here in Australia. So by my calculations, that's about 55 days away from now. That is a bit of time for us to put a bit of thought into choosing what we'll be playing for maybe the next year or so in the expansions. Without further ado, we'll jump into it and we'll start talking about how to choose our mains and the reasons why we should be and what we should be looking at when considering these classes and the specs. Now this little guide might help some of you who have absolutely no idea about what you want to play in the upcoming expansion, but it can also help you players who have an idea but you haven't really consolidated what you'd like to play. So we'll go through this, we'll talk about it, and then it will hopefully give you a much better understanding and a bit of kind of insight into what you want and what you want from this expansion and your main throughout the expansion. Alrighty, so first and foremost, you have to decide what role you'll be playing, and whether that's you want to tank, you want to damage, or that you want to heal. Now, in terms of damage, you also have to kind of specify between whether you want to be in melee or whether you want to be a ranged DPS. So these are big factors and they are quite different styles of gameplay. Also, it does change the style of class that you can access for either style. So thinking about what you want to do in the game is quite important in terms from a role perspective. Now on from that, you also have to decide on what you will want to do in the game once you're in the expansion. Will your main be focused on raiding? Will it be solely focused on doing Mythic Plus? Or is PvP and Arena your more style of play? Things to also consider are how it plays through questing whilst you're leveling, and also throughout the entire expansion where you're doing world quests and other things if you actually enjoy that style of play. So these are all big things to really consider when choosing a main. Now with all of those factors in mind, as they are large parts of the game that will influence the way in which you play and how you function in the game, is to also think about the class that you want to play. Now, when I say this, I'm referring to things such as, say, rogues and mages and warlocks. They're DPS only specs. They only have the ability to DPS. Whereas if you go to like any of the hybrid specs, such as shaman, priest, monk, druid, paladin, even a demon hunter if you choose to tank on them, there's still other ways you can play rather than just DPS. But also saying that you have to keep in mind that if you absolutely detest tanking, choosing a class that has the opportunity to tank and you may be expected to tank may not be the right choice, because if you don't want to tank, you'll hate it. And in this line of thinking also fits the Shadow Priest. If you play Shadow Priest with the sole intent of only playing DPS, even though you have access to 2 healing specs unlike any other class, there is scenarios where you may be asked to heal, and if you don't like healing, it can be a bit of a sticky situation you might get yourself into. So these are all things that you will need to consider when choosing a class, in terms of what the class has available to them, in terms of abilities, roles, what kind of roles they feel, healing, range DPS, melee DPS. These are all things that must be considered, as there is a good chance you may be asked to play them at some stage. Now with all that said and done, I know it's very easy to watch videos and look at things like this and then make a decision from that. However, I do urge you to play either in the PTR or the pre-patch when it comes, when all the changes have come in to the classes that have had changes. It will really help you get a grip on what you like and what you don't like, even if a class that you previously had, its changes makes it terrible for you now. The best way to find your perfect class is just to test them. So I wish you all good luck out there in choosing your class coming into Shadowlands. I am still in the process myself. It can be a very tough decision because you know you're going to devote so much time to that one character, and you'd hate to get there to the end of it all and really dislike it. So it is an important choice. But thank you very much for sticking around, and I hope this little bit of information that I have helps you in your quest to find the perfect main for you in Shadowlands. Alrighty, see you later.